Gee whiz. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there, folks. Uh, so, funny story. I'm all alone, which is totally fine. I mean, whatevsies. We're chilling, hanging out, you know what I'm saying? And when I'm alone, I do irresponsible things. So, not my fault, because I didn't leave me alone, okay? Anyways, finna do a little this wine. Honestly, I don't even know who this wine is. So thank you. I'm assuming I know who it belongs to, but yeah, we'll replace it or something. I don't know. Didn't get a cup. As you can see, I'm all alone right now, and that was good. Anyways, ooh. Anyways, we might get a little saucy tonight. No big deal. You know, everything's fine. Anyways, Bitcoin Jake, what up? Economist, Eco NY Mouse. Nah, I'm playing. Anyways, so apparently, the person who is going to be streaming with me, Jerome, will be here eventually at some point. Our dear, lovely, my normal co-host, Annalise, who is not currently here today, is in Philly or New Jersey or something, doing a meetup sponsored by Bravo Coin. Shout out Bravo Coin. Love them. And she's over there with Crypto Finally, Ken Bosak, a bunch of people. It's like super lit. If you don't know who either of those people are, find me on Twitter. Find them on Twitter. It's a madhouse. It's a lot of fun. So a little bit later in the show, I'm going to have a special guest on, do like a little bit of an interview type thing, so we can learn about what his project is, what he's got going on. He actually had me on his podcast last week, which was really, really cool. So shout out to Rob McNeely. He'll be on the show, I believe, around 9:30 Eastern time, so 20-ish minutes from now. And then after that, we're probably going to check in with Annalise up there in Philly and just kind of see what she's got cooking over there. So first things first, before I get started, I'm just going to, no big deal. Man, that's good. It's going to be a very sloppy drunk crypto today. Super sorry about that, you guys, but it is what it is. Looks like my co-host is here with a dog. Talk about it later. That's totally fine, and everything is fine. So, co-host, just so you know, you don't have to be quiet today. You're not Garcon. We don't have a Garcon today. You can speak.
That's right.
You can speak. Anyways, you probably don't want this because I licked it already. So.
Actually, dang it, I left it in the car. I brought some lick.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, of course I went to the store before I got
Bro,
here.
get the fuck out of here.
Let me
Go
get that
get
real
that
quick.
shit. Hell
Let me put
yeah.
him in the room, too.
Hell yeah. Anyways, that's pretty sick. Wait, hold on. Before you go, hold on. Chunks, come here. Chunks.
Oh, yeah, let's get there.
Come up. Hey, come here. Oi. Oi. Dog. Boy, if you don't... Come on. Don't you knock over my laptop, but come here. Come on. Come up. Come up. So here we have Trunks. He's our office pup. He keeps the morale pretty high over here. Super good doggy. He's actually the mascot of a crypto project that we're working on that I can't tell you guys about yet, but it's gonna be sick. So there's that part. Apparently there's some. Oh my god, what is this? That boy bought the fucking big ass E&J. You didn't bring no Coke or nothing? Come on! What am I, a degenerate?
Come on, Chunks. Come on.
Oh my god.
Come on. In the room.
I'm sweating already. This is gonna be a night, boys and girls.
Have fun, it's me.
Apparently, Jesus Christ. Anyways, now that all of that's out of the way, wow, do y'all see these prices down here? Man, did we slash and burn. The cool thing that I've noticed, though, with these prices going on, is no one really cares. Like, no one's really talking about it like it's a big deal. Because, I mean, grand scheme, it's really not that big of a deal if you think about it. Like, the price goes up, price goes down. That's what kind of happens in Bitcoin. So, like, all the real, movers and shakers out there aren't even saying anything about this price action that's happening right now, which I think is pretty cool. Kind of shows me that we're at a more confident level or space right now. Bitcoin definitely took a beating, which is shameful. Let's see, what else we got? XRP's taking a beating. ETH is taking a beating. Apparently Stellar is up in the last minute or so, but that's taking a beating too. Bitcoin Cash beating. EOS beating. That's unfortunate. But at the same time, what can you do? It's really not all about price. A lot of it is just about actually utilizing this token. If you really care about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem, don't just hodl. That's going to be a weird thing, but I'm okay with that. If you actually care about this ecosystem, like I'm saying, just hodling is not the way to actually push forward adoption. There's a few ways that you guys can do. Oh, what's up, Rob? Rob's in the chat now. Cool. So Rob will be on in a little bit, like 15 minutes or so. We'll talk about his project and we'll kind of see what's going on there. So the real way to push forward crypto adoption, and this is something I want every single one of you to do, because I know at some point in the future, you're going to take an Uber, you're going to go to a restaurant, you're going to do something. So talk to the people in the service industry, people who accept tips, actual people who are working, and let them know about Bitcoin and why you think Bitcoin or just crypto in general is important. Explain it to them, and if you're really cool, tell them to download a wallet and send them a little something. I give out Bitcoin all the time. We give out Bitcoin all the time. If I approach you in public and I talk to you about Bitcoin, I'm gonna give you a little bit. Most recent example was I was in an Uber the other day, and he was talking to me about how he likes driving for Uber, but sometimes they hold money and they do this and they do that. And I was explaining, wow, it's the problem with the U.S. dollars. You don't get a chance to actually own it. You don't own your USD, regardless if it's physically in your pocket. You don't own that. It can be recalled from you at any time. It's really unfortunate. And then when you're working through other centralized intermediaries that are actually holding money that is due to you, what do? How do you get that money when it's rightfully yours, but someone else is holding it? Nothing. You do nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. So people like that are the perfect people to talk to about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And always try to tip your waiters in Bitcoin if possible. Give them a choice. Let them know, hey, I'll send you this digital asset that could go up, it could go down in value, but if you look at the chart, it's going to keep going up. Offer them that option, and it's not really hurting you none. I was talking to somebody else about this earlier. How do you feel about this, right? The theory of I don't want to spend my Bitcoin because if I spend it, it might be worth more in the future. What are your thoughts on that? Because I have my own thoughts on that.
I mean, we know somebody that spent what's now worth $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. Charlie, I mean, there's so many people that have made transactions. I mean, if you think about it,
Jesus Christ,
somebody that had cash a long time ago could have held on to it, and then that older money would be worth more now, wouldn't it?
Cash? No, not cash.
So you're telling me if I had a $100 bill from 100 years ago,
it would be worth $1 now, I think.
$100 bill from 100 years ago.
Okay, so that physical actual dollar
Yes.
would be worth more, but that's not, Bitcoin is not worth more because it's older. The older Bitcoin is not worth more than the newer Bitcoin. So that line of, I see where you were going there, but that line of thinking, no. So here's my thing, right? Let's say I'm going to give somebody a $10 tip. Instead of giving them a $10 tip of cash, if I take that $10 and buy $10 of Bitcoin and give it to them, I'm not out anything other than the $10 that I was going to be out regardless.
Exactly.
So I was talking to somebody who said that they bought, or they paid someone's rent, their daughter's rent or something like that, and they didn't want to do that because now it's worth so much money and this and that. Well, you were going to have to spend the cash on it anyway.
Exactly.
What is the difference? So that's just my thoughts on that. Spread adoption. There's a bunch of ways to do it. If you do something super cool like that and you are talking with someone and you catch it on video, or even if you just post about it somewhere, let me know. I'll repost it. I'll shill you because you're a hero. So there's that part. What is this? It's like dragons. titty milk. What is this?
This is watermelon and E&J. It's what I saw in the fridge, and that's what we are drinking. E&J was just something that, New Yorkers, college days.
Yeah,
this is just what the boys would drink whenever.
Right. But Jesus,
You wanted to party with a lot of people and have a lot to drink on.
There's two of
gotta
us.
have the dark drinks, man.
There's two of us.
See, two of us today, but then we have VR game nights for those who don't know. I host VR game nights in Miami. I guess a lot of people don't know me on camera. I don't come on as much, so let me just do a quick little introduction, guys.
You do a lot of behind the scenes building. We kind of like switched positions a little bit where like I used to just only do like all the behind the scenes stuff, and now you've kind of like branched off and started doing the VR and a lot of really wacky stuff that I didn't even really know we could do, which is pretty lit. So shout out to that.
Just to give them a little idea of what is that we're talking about.
Oh my God!
If you could pull up VR game nights, can we get the flyer? That beautiful.
Oh snap! You're in Florida. I need to visit you guys. Yes, we're in Florida. We work out of the Blockchain Center, Miami, baby. Come through. I'm there like all the time. Friday, I'm there all day long. We do game nights every Friday, 8 p.m. until we're done drinking and partying.
Pretty
honestly.
much.
It's really like a chill, just come hang out. Yeah, we can talk crypto and blockchain, but let's just hang out, and we're all into the same stuff. But whatever.
Main goal is just being able to educate people on what's going on in the space. For people that are new, this is a great way for them to be able to get adapted and come out. Not the average gamer isn't gonna jump on to Bitcoin, but if they saw that there's a game night and they learned about VR gaming, cloud gaming, blockchain gaming, then they'd be like, what's Bitcoin? And if they're mingling with more people that are in this space and doing a lot of things in this space, then there'd be chances are that they might buy or invest. And as well as we have Bitcoin ATMs all around the center. So I've seen people use them at the center after game nights or during game nights. This game night, I really want to shout out because we are going to be really talking about cloud gaming. Right now, we're really at that niche. Just a short little plug. Cloud gaming is when a game is not running on your PC or your Xbox. It's running on the servers in Google or
Don
Microsoft.
Fepe in the building.
What's up, Don Fepe?
That's my guy.
With games
That's my guy.
running in another area and then stream to you, just like how you go on YouTube or Netflix.
So it's like Netflix for gaming.
In a sense, and that's one of the things that we're really going to talk about tomorrow, because Google has their new platform called Google Stadia, which we really thought that was going to be the Netflix for gaming. Would you believe that it's not? It's literally just Xbox in the cloud.
Google Stadia.
Yes. Now, I still am hyped up about it because the feature that I'm really excited about is the fact that I could be able to play a game on my phone, hit the cast button, and now it's on the TV. I'm done with the TV and I want to play from my laptop. I can play on my laptop without needing to stop the game or anything. I literally can just move to the next location. That to me is the coolest thing. But I did get to try Microsoft X Cloud. I didn't get to tell you about that yet.
Well, you did.
I did? Okay.
I was there when you got the email.
Yes,
You were
okay.
like super happy about it.
I
was
also
like,
tried
relax.
it after work or during my lunch break. That was fun. Just quick stop, play a quick round on about my day. But the future is here, ladies and gentlemen. Enough for that plug. Gaming is not the end goal today. Let's talk about the news.
News. So we had a question. How'd you guys take that big dump? And then, anytime I say something into the universe is like, well, let me correct you. So just like I was saying, no one's talking about this big dump.
Somebody asked.
Here we have someone asking about it. Honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. Honestly, I'm chilling.
I got a little hurt. It's not. I'm fine. I'm not selling. As long as you didn't sell, you're good.
Or if you did sell because you knew the dump was incoming, once we broke that support, and then you bought back
back in.
I don't know.
You're golden.
I don't know. Fast enough client side, heavy processing is in the cloud. Yeah. It's like
Let me pull up the.
it's like a movie, I guess you could say. It's like you're literally streaming Netflix, and how you can pick it up from wherever you left off or whatever on laptop, phone,
That's
etc.
specifically Google Stadia, because with Xbox and with PlayStation, I cannot switch. You have to stop the game, go over to the Xbox. Now I can be able to continue streaming.
So the Microsoft joint doesn't do that.
Does not let me switch. I cannot mid-game switch to another platform. Google Stadia will.
I don't know. I haven't seen Google Stadia. I've seen you play the Xbox or the Microsoft version of it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not the gamer. You're the gamer, so.
Token gamer.
I will wreck somebody in Smash Bros. Though. So if you do want to come out to game night and you want these particular hands, I will sign them and deliver them to you.
But
so,
you won't see my Kirby though.
Stop it. You say that as if I haven't beat you multiple times.
Come on.
And you also say that as if like Kirby's not your only character. Okay.
So you're gonna
need
say
you to
that
stop.
I've never beaten you with anybody else but Kirby?
Barely.
Okay.
Barely.
So this isn't about gaming. Let's go ahead and move on because I'm gonna see him tomorrow and he's not gonna be saying that.
Yeah, I Playboy. Anyways, so in about 8 or so minutes, we'll get Rob on the show, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about just kind of stuff in general. I'm not going to, press too much. I'll let him kind of talk about what he wants to talk about, but I know his project, Tusk, the Universal Settlement Coin,
I listened to your podcast with him.
Yeah, well, did you like it?
I did. You guys had some interesting topics. I was proud.
I thought it was really informative, especially like from his end. Like I tried to do my part as well, but like I feel like really like from his end.
The one thing I do wish you guys did a little bit more, Rob. I mean, he's told me a little bit about Tusk, but for somebody, our viewers that are coming to Tusk, cool. I get to learn more about bits and tokens.
That's what tonight's
about.
I
didn't get to learn much about Tusk,
but that's what tonight's about.
I'm excited to probe you a little bit more and learn a little bit.
Hey, yo,
this guy, you can't say words around him. He just takes it the wrong way.
Hey, Mr. Alien Man over here probing people. I don't know. So anyways, before we jump into the news, is there any specific story that you guys want to talk about aside from, I think I saw CZ was tweeting earlier, and if you don't know about CZ, he's the CEO of Binance. He was tweeting earlier about some FUD that popped up where supposedly his office in Shanghai got raided and police and it was shut down, but that didn't happen because they don't have an office, they're not in Shanghai, and they didn't get shut down.
As well as, if I'm not mistaken, right after I saw that, I saw another one about Bittrex because they're also in where is it, Shenzhen?
Maybe.
And they also had some FUD coming out that their office got raided when they don't have an office in Shenzhen.
Pew, pew.
So,
oh, man.
Be careful for the FUD. Facts. Show me the receipts.
Exactly. I'm big on receipts. Love them. And I always keep them.
Ever since he started saying that, that's my new thing now.
Show me the receipts. And boy, do I have some receipts for y'all. We're going to talk some shit about some people tonight.
Oh, man.
Listen. I tried. If you follow me on Twitter, you may or may not know what I'm talking about. I tried. I reached out to this particular individual. Doesn't want to reach back out to me to clarify what I saw on the internet and was appalled that I saw. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, it's best to just apologize and...
Listen, you can't apologize for that, okay? You can't apologize for being who you are. You are who you are. I just want to know, is that who you are? Cool. Done with you. That's it.
Fair enough.
We'll get into that later. It's going to be really spicy, like I said. Apparently, we're not playing around tonight, so there's that part.
It's Rome on the show, Token Gamer.
Hey, so listen, do me a favor. We have 6-ish minutes before our next segment. I want you to figure out a quick story we can talk about real quick, and I'm going to set up our interview.
4 sure and 7 score.
What? 4 score and 16 bars ago?
That's a what?
So
people are believing that this crash was because of the FUD from Binance and not. I said Bitfinex earlier.
Christ.
It's from BitThumb. BitThumb was the other one, and it wasn't Shenzhen. It was Shanghai. I apologize.
Yeah, they was both Shanghai stuff.
Neither one of them have a Shanghai office.
Yeah, Don Fepe says that might have caused a dip. That's so stupid.
Stupid.
Oh my God, Binance got shut down. Everything, like what? First of all, let me tell you something about Binance, okay? Here's the thing about Binance.
I did see this earlier. Go ahead.
The thing about them is not only are they, so like their exchange, you can consider that a centralized exchange, but Binance itself as a company is decentralized. Mm-hmm. If I have mirrored servers in 15 different countries and you shut down one office, okay. Like what do you want? Some people's ping is going to go up.
Now I can see if it was the headquarters, but That they don't even have a office there.
Well, so here's the thing. CZ will never tell the world if there is a headquarters, if there's not, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Security.
I honestly don't really believe there is. I think they kind of just do everything on the go. Aside from like having, obviously, like you need servers somewhere, right? But like aside from that, I'm pretty sure they just do everything on the go, which that's pretty lit. So anyway, let me get this set up here. What were you? Go ahead. You were saying a thing about it.
All right. So you were saying earlier that people didn't really notice the crash a bit. So here's one story from News BTC earlier today. Legendary Bitcoin short seller says to watch out for base form before buying. I also saw that same legendary Bitcoin short seller on another article. He was a guy that shorted Bitcoin when it got near $20,000. He believes that Bitcoin's dying. I started laughing. What do you think?
Mark Dow?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I'm pretty
something
certain.
underscore Dow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forgot who it was. One of my homies retweeted him and was like, "Yo, but it was Gator. Gator retweeted him and was like, "Oh, but your last name or whatever it represents a market or an exchange or whatever, like a thing
Dow.
that is I
Dead.
think Bitcoin is doing 5 times better this year alone
Yep.
than the Dow."
Yep. That's the DAO, which was one organization, whereas a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, there's a bunch of them out there. Maker's making one. Another one that I like is DAO Stacks. There's a bunch of them. Do your own research, but
How did we get here? What? Hold on.
anywho, just because you were saying that Bitcoin is doing 5 times better than the DAO, which was what caused the crash in 2014 on Ethereum, making the split for Ethereum Classic.
Yeah.
Anywho, don't pay attention to all of the FUD out there. A lot of people will tell you that Bitcoin's dying because they're not in the space. They're not paying attention to what's going on. Whereas we're out here in this space. We're out here pushing adoption every day. We're meeting people every day. And there's still every day I meet somebody that does not know what Bitcoin is. I'm so shocked every time I meet somebody. I'm like, have you heard of blockchain? No. What about Bitcoin? No. I'm like, Bitcoin, internet money? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my days. Yo, you remember that old lady at the car show?
Oh, man. That was priceless.
That was my favorite thing ever. This boy goes up to this lady and like, we were talking to her about her camera stuff because like we had the cameras out, she had the cameras out, and it was cool. And then this man is like, "Oh, do you know about random? Do you know anything about Bitcoin?" She was like, "What's that?" He was like, "Well, it's kind of like internet money." And she was just like, she's not with it.
Too funny. All right, before he brings in our next segment, I want to make sure we talk about the upcoming announcements. I think you already brought up ArtX Tech.
We talked about that last time, but yeah.
Well, we got to talk about it every time, guys. ArtX Tech, if you're in the Miami area, make sure you come out to our event. It's going to be from December 3rd to December 6th, and then we'll have some more events coming in after that, but it sounds like Rob is on the line.
It sure do sound that way. Let's see here. Oh, look at that guy.
Woo, with
I know that
clean screen.
I know that guy. All right, let's switch over here. So we do have... Oh, look at that hat. Listen, Rob, can you send me a hat? Can you send me one of those?
Us?
I think I can make that happen.
Okay,
Woo!
sick. I would definitely like one. All right, we're gonna transition over here. Boom,
Fire.
you're on the air now, baby. All right, so
Hey, what's going on?
everyone gets to see your big beautiful face here, and we are gonna talk today about a few things. I'm gonna sneak in some gun talk somewhere because
Please.
I like it.
I gotta make a point of order on this. Like, if you guys are gonna be drinking EJ Rock Gut Brandy, get the VSOP and just don't settle for that VS shit.
You feel me?
I know. This was the one that was in my budget at the moment, okay?
All right,
Payday's
okay.
tomorrow. Leave me alone.
Okay.
So here's some interesting stuff. I owned a ghetto liquor store in Denver for a year, so I know all about rock gut shit. So if you're gonna do E&J,
Gotta have the VSOP.
you gotta do the VSOP.
That's
I
true.
agree.
I agree with that as well.
But I mean, we ain't dying today, right? We enjoying ourselves.
Listen, I don't know, man.
Tell me you got a shot to cheers with us, Rob.
What's that?
Tell me you got a shot to drink with us. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers, my friends.
All right, I like it.
You know what? I was thinking today because it started snowing today, and I'm like, those guys are gonna be in Miami. They're not gonna be snowing down there, so it's snowing now.
Thanks for sharing.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit jealous. I love snow. When we were driving through Texas, there was snow, and I haven't seen snow since I was in NY. You know what I mean? Like it's been a while.
That's true. That's
So,
true. Yeah, I got to go to New York last year, so I got to see a little bit of snow. Didn't
me.
care for it, and at least had so much fun in it. You know, I'm from New York. For anybody that doesn't know, and I dealt with snow for what 20 years, almost 21 years. I'm good. I'll
not that
pass. I'm
bad.
over it
Little
now.
salt, little shovel. Not that
Yeah,
bad.
but trying to
Well,
shovel.
there's like a big difference though. I'm from Detroit originally, and there's a big difference from Midwest winter versus West winter. Because like
That's true.
out here we get all this like sunlight, like daylight, sunshine. We get 300 days of sun out here in Utah, and so the thing is like back in the Midwest, it's like cloudy and overcast, like 28 days out of 30 in the wintertime. So it's really whereas out here, you get a blizzard, then like a day later, it's nice and sunny and blue skies, and then it melts off the streets, and it's just nice and fluffy on the lawn, and it's very different. So Western winters are very much better than like Midwest winters.
Okay, I can appreciate that. So earlier in the show, I think it might have been before you actually jumped into the chat, but earlier in the show, I was explaining that we're going to have you on. I explained you're from the company Tusk, and it stands for the Universal Settlement Coin, but I didn't go into any much more details beyond that.
I didn't even know that.
So I know we've had many a conversation, so I'm very familiar with your project, very familiar with you. We partied a little bit in Vegas, which was
A little bit.
lots
I'm
of
so jealous.
so just give me like a real quick. What is Tusk? What are you guys trying to do?
Well, one, we're not a company. There's no CEO. There's no president. There's no corporation. No LLC. We are a completely decentralized, pure payments cryptocurrency project. We're a delegated proof of stake crypto project, which means that it's a lot faster than a proof of work kind of situation. Our main deal is that we started out almost 2 years ago as an ERC20 token. We spent the last 14 months building our own blockchain, and we just completed our token swap, finished in the beginning of October, and we're about to go fully mainnet here in hopefully this weekend, and bring the block producers in. So that's we should be resume trading within about a week or two after that.
Sick.
So what's different about us, right? Okay, that's what everybody asks. Why are you doing another blockchain? I get that a lot. And so I said, one, we're focused on adoption, and we're focused on payments, digital payments, meaning that we view our competitors as Visa and MasterCard,
Gotcha.
and PayPal and Venmo. So so we're not, I don't believe we're even competing with other cryptocurrencies because they're not doing what we're doing. So our big thing is, how do you get adoption? And so what we said is, we kind of looked at the market pretty heavily, and we said, why hasn't crypto been adopted, right? I mean, that's like the big thing. And everybody, the whole point of crypto to me was always about payments. That's what originally in the Bitcoin white paper was peer-to-peer digital cash. But, the Bitcoin community has abandoned that application in favor of store of value, which I actually think was a mistake, to be honest. But I think what happened is they didn't get the adoption. In 10 years, they really didn't get adoption. And Bitcoin, as it is right now, is not designed for retail. Block times are too long, 10-minute block times, confirmation times, and costs for transactions are really just prohibitive for any kind of real retail environment. Yeah, let's talk about Lightning another time, but it's not ready for prime time yet either. So we said,
Lightning.
yeah. So my take is this, is that we said, so what we did with our project is we're marketing focused. And so we asked the question, how do we get adoption? And how do we go out and go through, and how do we get a decentralized project marketed like a startup in an efficient manner? And so those two things, those are the two questions we started with, like almost about a year and a half ago now.
Okay.
And what we said, look, why hasn't mass adoption happened? We said, because most crypto projects are run by developers that hate sales and marketing. And because they hate sales and marketing, they don't do sales and marketing. That's it. It really is that simple. And two, part of sales and marketing is sorting out your, doing market segmentation and sorting out who your market is, right? So if you try so we said, if you're going to try to create a new payment system for people, you need to present that to people that have a recognized problem with whatever they're using now. And so this is really important. So if you go try to tell grandma she needs to go spend an extra $5 and wait 3 hours for a confirmation of Bitcoin to go buy something at Joanne Fabrics, that's insane to think that that's ever going to work or be realistic. Yet, if you talk to a lot of people in crypto, especially the maximalists out there, that's exactly what they think. Well, grandma just needs to learn about the economy and depreciation and evaluate, inflation and all this other stuff, and then she'll just want to use it. No, that's not how life works. So we said, okay, we're going to do market segmentation, and we're going to focus our project on industries that have basically a recognized problem. And there's about 7 industries that have a recognized problem right now in the United States with traditional payment systems, and they're all distasteful to somebody. So, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but what those industries are things like cannabis. There are things like pawn shops, things like gambling, prostitution, pornography, refugees and immigrants have a problem with banking. And then the last one is guns, are the ones that all have a current problem that they recognize have a problem. Those industries are all very much aware that they have a problem with banks and processing and payment processing. And so we said, well, if you're going to try to get adoption, you probably need to start in that universe. And then the next, and so we decided to go with the gun industry because of all those distasteful industries. The guns are the only ones that are constitutionally protected in the United States, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry every year. So civilian guns and ammo in the United States is about a $3 to $5 billion direct sales to civilians industry every single year.
Yeah.
And then if you go and look at all the things outside of that or around it, like body armor and camouflage and all that stuff, guns ends up being that whole world tends to be about $30 to $50 billion a year. So to me, it's a big market. So let's look at that one, and it's constitutionally protected. And I'm also a gun nerd, so it just seemed like it makes sense because I'm already kind of passionate about that. And then the other thing that we did differently is how do you market a decentralized project, but how do you market it in an effective way like a startup might be done? And to me, this is probably one of the things that's really lacking. So if you go look on all the major projects out there right now and like CoinMarketCap and look at the team pages for projects that have teams, they'll have like 20 engineers and developers, but then may have one sales guy or no sales guy. And that reflects what I was saying. There's this bias against sales and marketing. It's this idea that build it and they will come, but build and they will come is a myth. It doesn't work in the real world, and engineers always fall into that trap. So what we did is we said, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm my background sales and marketing. I'm not a developer. And so what we said is, how do we go through and run this startup Tusk, or it's not a startup but a project? How do we run it like a startup and market it and grow it like in an effective way? So we created this thing that no other crypto's done. It's called the marketing partner. And the marketing partner is a term-limited and elected vendor that gets a share of the block rewards. That's sole job is to grow the network like a startup. And so we started a company called Tusk MP, and it's my company. So my wife and I, who are co-founders, we started Tusk MP. We are the first marketing partner for the Tusk network. The marketing partner doesn't have any say over how the network is operated. It doesn't have a vote. It can be fired at any time. And so we figured that gives us the benefit and the ability to effectively grow the network like a company. But yet it's still decentralized because the marketing partner doesn't have any governing control over the network. That's all done on chain with our system by votes and by proposals.
Makes sense.
Cool. So earlier you were mentioning block producers and how in like a week or two, or sometime you're going to start having block producers come on. Become a block producer.
So in a delegated, which is the same. So that's a graphene-based blockchain. So graphene is the underlying blockchain, underneath Steem, Myota, Bravo Coin, Tusk, obviously BitShares, and EOS. So it's all the same. I think I said EOS twice, but it's all the same basic blockchain underneath all those. And delegated proof of stake A lot of people don't really understand, but there's 21 validating nodes. We set up 21. You can actually set as many as you want. But there's basically 21 block producers. So instead of like in Bitcoin where you have these really expensive ASIC type miners that are required now to run and mine Bitcoin, we don't mine Tusk. Tusk is just, there's these 21 nodes that create blocks. And those, when they create blocks, there's a slight bit of there's a set inflation rate in the DPoS network, which pays for the miners and pays for the network, and it's self-funding, which we didn't have as an ERC20 token. And then the block producers get a share of block rewards just like a miner would. And so the cool thing about what we did is so the top 21 block producers get paid. So they get paid, but you don't have to have expensive hardware to be a block producer. It's just GPU run. And then on top of that, the next 79 block producers, or we call them standby witness nodes, also get a smaller share of block rewards. So even if you're not the top 21, if you just set up a computer at your house and you became one of those witness nodes, you still get a little piece of the pie if you're in the top 100.
Does it have to be a computer? Could you use your phone? What's the processing power look like?
You said GPU.
You'd have to use a computer.
Yeah.
It's RAM intensive, definitely RAM intensive.
How much RAM are we talking?
In the beginning, not a lot, a couple gigs probably. The thing is, we pulled out all the smart contract stuff that was in the normal BitShares. BitShares is actually a pretty robust platform. But we pulled out all the smart contracts and the exchange and stuff out of it. So we actually don't know at this point. The recommended
it's a good thing.
The recommended amount of RAM is pretty significant, but since we pulled out a lot of that, it's not real intensive. I've been running a test node off my my system that I'm talking to you through right now, and I didn't notice a blip. And I think in this, I have 30 gigs of RAM on this machine. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so, and I didn't even notice it, and I'm doing video editing and stuff at the time, and so
Yeah.
It's interesting. We decided, so, one of those people, a lot of people love proof of work, and I'm not here to, argue that proof of work is bad or good, but, our block times are 3-second intervals, and our confirmation times on the testnet at least have been averaging a second and a half.
Oh, wow.
So the idea is that we wanted to be retail ready out of the box, so we didn't have to spend 4 years trying to develop this second layer solution. It's all built into the network. It's really fast. And to me, there's arguments about pros and cons about, proof of work, proof of stake, delegated proof of stake. And some people said proof of work is more secure. Depends. If you're a small network, it's not. In fact, a lot of these small proof of work networks for $60, $70 and renting RAM, and you can take them over with a 51% attack. That's basically not really that easy to do in something like what we're doing. And the cool thing is with delegated proof of stake is you have all these standby block producers. So if one of the major 21 go down, you just vote in another one almost instantaneously. So it actually is self-healing. And so delegated proof of stakes are really actually very, very reliable, but they're super fast. And for us, we're focused on getting retail adoption. And so being competitive on times and from the user experience with Visa was important for us.
Okay. I have a kind of a two-part question for you.
And then I have one.
Sure. So you said that you want to be retail ready out of the box. That's amazing. Do you have any retailers right now? And if not, or even if you do, what is your initial target, I guess, retailer demographic?
So we have confirmations or verbal confirmations from 15 retailers that have expressed interest to accept Tusk once we have our first payment gateways completed, which we're hoping to do right after the first of the year.
Nice.
So we're already talking to. We're focused mostly on gun retailers because they have a recognized problem with payment processing. A gun retailer in the United States. It's one of the most heavily regulated industries in the United States. And right now, gun retailers, just because of politics on the bank's part, are prohibited from using PayPal, Square, Stripe, Cash App. And interestingly enough, token payments or coin payments also prohibit gun retailers from using their third-party crypto payment gateways as well.
Wait, did you say BitPay?
Mm-hmm.
What?
All the major third-party payment gateways that have banking relationships view them as high risk. And if you go look at the terms of service and all the fine print, And they may not market, they may not tell you that they
Right.
ban it, but if you look at the terms of service, they do. And that's because of their pre-existing, when you're a third-party payment gateway, you also have a banking relationship.
Right.
And so and you got to remember it, because when you're a third-party payment gateway provider, you're taking a piece off the top, and then you got to deposit that somewhere. So one of the things that we're doing is I will say that it's well into production right now. And hopefully we'll have it ready soon. Basically for WooCommerce, we're looking at doing WooCommerce is our first payment gateway.
Makes sense.
Okay.
But it's a downloadable payment gateway. We don't take a piece off the top. We don't own it. It's just an open source software we're recommending to people that they download on their own site. So they're hosting their own payment gateway that integrates with WooCommerce, so they can accept Tusk. That way, they're not relying on some third-party payment gateway provider that also could just ban them randomly. And that's what's happened. Like how you just heard with Pornhub, PayPal just shut all the ladies off on Pornhub, right? Well, what's happened is if you look at PayPal and all their terms of service, those services were already prohibited under PayPal. You couldn't use it for pornography. It violated their terms of service. And so they just basically did a clean sweep of all those people, and they're getting smarter at it. So the gun industry it's like a whack-a-mole game. People set up an LLC, that doesn't have the word gun or porn or cannabis in it, and then they'll try to set up, a payment gateway, or, we use one of these third-party digital payment processors, and then eventually it catches up and they shut them down instantly. So we said, look, we're trying to make every piece of this for the retailers available so they can control it. So if you're on WooCommerce, it's open source. You use a Tusk payment gateway that they download, they control that. And then if they're using Tusk, then they can't really be shut down. And that's what we're trying to do, is create almost like, at least in the beginning, an insurance policy against debanking.
All right. Makes
I like
sense.
that.
All right.
You had a question.
Yes, two-part question. I'm going to follow up on his, and then I'll ask my question. So follow up from his. You said that you have 15 retail locations. We've been talking a lot about, location, right? Where are those 15 locations? Are they
all over the country right now? So some of them are online retailers, some are brick and mortar.
Sick.
And and it's like anything else. It's where do you start and where are you going to get adoption? Well, the ones that are mostly, it's kind of like everything in this world's a baby step. It's just like getting on exchanges, right? You got to start on the bottom, get some traction, prove yourself, and then the next level exchange will take a risk on you.
Unless you get a lot of money.
With retailers. So we'll be starting with several mom and pops. I can say that there's a body armor company as one of them, Citizen Armor. If you go on, look on Citizen Armor, citizenarmor.com. Actually, they've already agreed that they're going to be accepting Tusk. So that's a done deal. So as soon as we get a payment gateway, we're setting up with them. So we're focused on going after the gun industry, but it's also related industries, just because one is something, it's an industry I'm passionate about. In Utah, we're in a very gun-friendly state. But I'm already in this space. I used to own a small online tactical company myself. My wife and I did, so I actually had a business in this space already.
Cool.
So it just seemed like a natural fit for us because we already knew a lot of people. And like I said, it's an industry that's constitutionally protected and has a recognized problem, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So if we got, say, 1% of $5 billion running through the Tusk network, we'd be the most used cryptocurrency on the planet for actually sales. Out there right now.
Interesting.
Wow.
Just from the guns and gun accessories.
That's gonna
Correct.
Very interesting.
That's gonna take off. I'm
What
excited.
was the second? You said you had a
Yep.
two-part.
So the other part was in regards to developing. What language are you guys using? I'm just curious.
Most of the back end code is C++.
Oh,
Front
cool.
end is a combination of mostly React, Node.
Cool. Geez, I had another question, and then you had a question, and we've been drinking.
I hate when that happens.
Jeez, man. Anyways, here's my question. You were telling me, I don't know if this is something we can talk about now, but you were telling me about a conference that you guys do, that you're gonna do again.
Oh, yeah, off chain. So we did the first one last March, and so it's a crypto inclusive conference, but it's not crypto only. So Off-chain it's offchain.events is our website. We just opened up the proposal for speakers. So if you guys have an idea or someone wants to come speak about something, but Off-chain is a unique event. It's a mashup conference called that kind of comprises or it's comprised of guns, crypto, and prepping, and any kind of technology that helps basically decentralization. It's a pro-liberty technology conference. So I'm working on trying to get a panel together on how to stop killer robots.
Can I please be on that panel? Can I moderate it? Can I be on it? That's the one I want. That's the one I want.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Then I want to be on it because I'm on the opposite
No,
side.
fuck you.
Me and him go back and forth because we're on opposite sides
the
of
robots.
multiple debates. But I'm pro-robot, so
Fuck
it would
robots.
be very fun to have
Listen,
that conversation,
no,
man.
No Alexas, no Google
So,
Homes,
so
no
hold
Roombas.
on. I have the Alexa and the Google Home right now, and I want to jump right in there because you're talking my language now. So
No Internet of Things in my house.
that's you guys, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not against you guys wanting to have that right to alienate yourself from the technology. Me on the other hand, I want to adapt more with the technology, and I see more and more ways that technology is going to incorporate with more people's lives.
Hold on.
You hear about the singularity.
Wait a minute. I have a question for you though. You want robots, right?
Yes.
But I don't want robots.
Yes.
How do you ensure that your robots don't encroach on me not wanting robots?
Won't happen.
Exactly. You
Because,
can't do it. Once the AI is smart enough, they're gonna be like, oh, let's make the world a better place by eliminating humans. And then what?
That's not-
And then what?
Oh my goodness.
Imagine this, once the military really gets all that AI auto targeting shit all dialed in, it'll be way more lethal and more accurate than human pilots. It'll be way more accurate, and it won't have fear. I mean, if you look at the kill rates of most soldiers, you wouldn't believe how often soldiers don't actually kill people.
Yep.
They miss because there's just this natural tendency to not to kill. We're wired not to kill people, believe it or not. And the military actually has to teach people how to kill. There's been a lot of studies about this especially the last couple of wars. In fact, right now the U.S. military is about the most lethal it's ever been in history because they've really figured out how to really break down some of the social mores against killing. Because we're kind of killing's bad, right? That's kind of most people are taught that. But machines don't have conscience. They don't have a conscience. They don't care if they kill. They just execute code. So I like to keep technology in a box, but I really like technology. But I don't believe in technology for technology's sake. And I think that, but I also understand humans, and I understand lethality, and I understand the military-industrial complex. So the reality is, all these robots are being built, and they're gonna be weaponized.
Yep.
And the question is, how do we prepare now for that onslaught?
So, and this is where I really love this conversation because we're both on the same side. It's not like I'm trying to come at it from an approach where I want the AIs to come take over all of us and not have any more humans. Obviously, I still want there to be humans, and I see a day where in certain locations we'll have societies where humans and AIs or robots can be able to coexist. What I believe is, yes, regardless, the powers that be are going to make it so that way robots and AIs are weaponized. I also can see where we will also have AIs and robots that protect us. I want to be on the side that makes the robots that also turns myself into a cyborg to be able to protect myself from that.
Okay, you're getting
oncoming onslaught.
Fucking wacky right
We've
now.
had those conversations, bro. It's not the first time.
This is why these conversations turn into fucking fistfights because I'm not a cyborg. What are you
I'm
fucking
with
talking
it.
about?
Not tomorrow, but 50, 100 years from now, I'm the guy that would be willing to jump into that technology.
I will disown you.
That's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Should have gotten the VSOP.
Oh man, to that we take another drink, man. That was a good one.
Okay, so think about it this way. This is my take on it. I think you're both right, but this is my take. There will be robots that protect people, but you're going to have to be a
Bitcoin Jake. Sorry. Repeat that. Bitcoin Jake got our attention. Go ahead.
So, there's going to be robot security guards and personal security. The
yup.
problem is, it's only going to be the rich guys that got them.
I disagree with that.
Why?
Continue. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have jumped in.
At
yes,
first, of course.
I agree. Continue.
So they're always going to have the better models. Think of it this way.
That's true.
I'm old, but it was only 19 years ago. Do you remember how expensive a 42-inch plasma TV was?
Oh my
Ridiculous.
Brian, plasma wasn't even
So
that
you're
lit.
talking about long ago, but
$15,000 when they came out, right? So who could afford a $15,000 42-inch TV that now costs about $400 at Walmart?
exactly.
The rich guys. So yeah, they'll be available, but can you afford it? All right, so think about it this way. Let's just say you had a fully autonomous humanoid kind of robot, slave walking around your house, right? That thing's going to cost $100,000 or $200,000. Think about it. If it can do the work of a man, right, and can last for several years, let's just think of it as a machine, right? Like you're buying a thing for a factory for a worker. How much does a worker cost, right? I mean, and I don't mean to overlap into the weird slave thing, but there's a price to how much labor costs.
No, yeah, for sure.
And you figure it out, right? So you think that you're going to be able to just roll up on a $300,000 Rolls Royce? No, you're going to get that fucking Yugo shit where the arm is falling off. The dollar guy, right? I mean, that's what you're going to have. You're going to have the Miata. You're not going to have that Rolls and that Bentley and version. And so the guys that can afford the Rolls and the Maybachs and the Maybach version of the killer robot is going to have the killer robot version. I think the guy by the time it gets down to the man on the street, it'll be 20 years later. And so what happens in that 20 years as that technology catches up, right? So, but it just comes down to is that the military is going to have that shit, and it's just a matter of time. And it's going to start out, they're just going to basically, they're not going to build, they're probably going to start off with just building drones. They're not even going to be designed for humans because they're smaller. You don't need to have, having a human on board requires a lot of different controls, right? I mean, if you think about being able to build a tank that doesn't have humans on it, is actually much more compact. And so you can put more weapons on them. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think that shit's going to happen a lot sooner than, going and having, walking around your house.
Absolutely agree.
That's coming though.
Yep.
Nah, fuck robots. They don't get to live with me. That's crazy.
Hey man.
So for off chain, I'm trying to put out. So last year we had 100 people come. It was low frills. We had really good speakers. It was kind of a hands-on kind of event, but we had like special forces dudes talking about how to, do your personal security to protect your hardware wallet. I mean, it was kind of really cool. We had hands-on demonstrations of state-of-the-art first aid stuff. We had like Tron Black from Ravencoin do a thing. Jonathan Johnson from Medici Ventures was the keynote last year. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool event. It should be a better event this year. We got more interest already just because you did it once. Now people are more interested in it. But the idea is that we want to put really cool stuff together. So I'm trying to get I'm actually reaching out to certain people that I want to learn about their technology. So we're looking at getting some people and talking about privacy stuff online, and we're looking at doing some ham radio and mesh network kind of people coming on. So it's just a matter of who we can get on to come to the event. But that's the deal. And then on that Sunday, it's like a Friday, Saturday deal. And then on the Sunday, we all go skiing in Park City if they want to go.
That's pretty sick. So my question about the skiing is not a big skier, but I do love board sports. Is there snowboarding available that Sunday as well?
Oh yeah, you can ski at Park City with the snowboard skis, or you can rent one of those ski bikes or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, sick. All right. So here's Jesus Christ. What are you trying to do to me, Jerome? Anyways, so like I said, I definitely want to be out there. The Killing Robots panel or whatever it was, how we started this conversation. I want to be on that.
Hey man, you got to have both sides of the argument. I'm there.
That's not a bad idea.
So it's interesting because I when I try to do stuff like this, and what was important to us is we made all our events start and end on time, and then we just tried to get really interesting guests. So like we did, just to give you an idea. So I try to recruit people that I think would be interesting. So we had we did a thing on physical security of hardware wallets. So I want to tie everything together. So there's like 3 major safe manufacturers in Utah, believe it or not. So
oh, wow.
I had the CEO of Fort Knox Safes come out, and then there's private security vaults like bank deposit vaults. So Safe Haven, they came out on the panel.
Oh, wow.
And then another guy talked about hardware wallets, and so it's interesting because talking to the Fort Not Safe guy, I said, hey, you might want to. They're looking at now building some crypto stuff for hardware wallets for heat inside their big things because hardware wallets will melt if it gets too hot. So, but he didn't know anything about crypto. I called him up, like, come out, right? And then I just reached out to some other people about the robot thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to staff it because there's actually a coalition. There's a non-government, an NGO organization that's out there called the Campaign to Stop Killer Robots. So I reached out to them, see if they can have somebody come out and talk. And then I've reached out to Boston Dynamics, but they never want to respond. They haven't responded. They didn't respond to me last year either.
Dude,
So
first of all, fuck Boston Dynamics. Those are the ones that are gonna get me killed.
Don't be saying fuck Boston Dynamics. I love Atlas.
No.
I can't wait to have my little spot dog.
Oh,
Come
robot
on, son.
dog with the
Come
backwards
on,
legs?
son.
No.
My little robot would be what?
That robot dog is going to be spying on your whole house. So think of it this way: like even the freaking Roomba maps your damn house.
Yup, I love it.
And then you attach that shit to the internet. Put it this way:
Yep.
anything that anything that's listening to you, you put your, it starts wandering around your house and mapping stuff. It just goes beep. All that thing goes to Google and Amazon and wherever else. And I don't need that. It's like Ring, right? The doorbell people. Do you know that the cops get access to all that information?
Yep.
now?
Are you serious?
Amazon, I'll go look it
They
up.
can retrieve it. They don't actively pull it all the time. They're not pulling my Ring right now. They're not watching you every time you're sitting on the step smoking. That's not something that they're doing.
Well, thanks for telling the world that I sit on the steps and I smoke, Jerome. Jesus Christ.
But the Ring is sitting there on actively at all times, and no, they're not pulling that data all the time. Now, if there was something
you
that
don't know that.
happened and I requested them to,
You don't know
they
that.
could.
You don't know that.
And I do like the fact that, oh my God, somebody broke into somebody's house. Hey, cop, Amazon Ring, this, that, and the third. They can be able to pull that data and grab
Why
that.
would you not just want to be able to pull the data yourself and not rely on the fucking
So
robots?
there's two sides to it. Yes, I can be able
There's
to.
actually 4 sides to every story, but if these walls could talk, they'd probably still ignore me.
Let him continue. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Rob. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, you lost me on that.
Sorry.
VSOP. Much better.
Oh my God. Got in my face. Oh, all right. Love this conversation, Rob.
Next time we're going to be bringing Four Loko on the set. That'd be
Absolutely
nice.
not.
Where do you
I
even
can't-
find that anymore?
They sell it at the gas station? Well,
Get
I don't
out.
know that. I'm not an alcoholic, but they definitely sell it at the gas station right here.
Is it- What's that other one we used to sell?
I need some of that OG strength for Loco.
Well, I can't wait for the event. When is it again?
February 28th and 29th in Salt Lake City.
And how can people get their tickets?
Right now, we haven't even opened up tickets right now. Right now, we're just getting speaker. We just did the invitation for speaker proposals. But it's going to be really cheap. It's going to be like 20 or 25 bucks. It's a no frills kind of event, but it's the focus is really good information and really good speakers, and it's almost like workshops, not just speakers. So we want people to walk away with learning something, and everybody who went, we had 100 people show up last year, and we were surprised we got that many, and everyone said they had a really, really awesome time. But the cool thing is, because it's not just a crypto-only event, it's not the same people that you see at every single meetup and event, right, and conference, right? So we got a lot of different people together. And here's the thing, like, the whole, preparedness world, and yes, Utah is a really prepared place, right? It's kind of hardwired into people's DNA out here. But, there's a lot of applications for decentralized technologies and crypto for people that are into the preparedness space. And so I think it's a good mashup. And I think when we start bringing, the decentralized technologies, the preparedness pieces, and start showing those pieces together, or bringing these kind of communities together, that's how we expand the users of crypto. And so I think that's kind of what we're just trying to focus on, is we want to bring gun people to the crypto world, because I think that it makes sense for them.
I agree. And, also with mingling different networks that already exist with crypto, to me, virtual reality just makes so much sense with internet money. I'm sure Tim's gonna hate me on this one, but I love trying to mix virtual reality with whatever I see that it fits with, and of course with Fallout 4 VR being a prepping style game where you're prepping for the Fallout. Is there any way that we can integrate something? I don't mind being there with the virtual reality headset, showing people Fallout 4 VR. I'll gladly get that and let people be able to experience and understand or virtually prep, as well as being able to play games like Pistol Whip where you're able to shoot and play around some more. I want to see more simulation style virtual reality and prepping and shooting and putting people in that situation where they feel like that event has occurred, that we need to now utilize that knowledge.
Games are not real life, though.
Oh my gosh, but it's still about the knowledge.
Oh my gosh, but
being in the experience. Let him answer it.
But how many times do I tell you that you play how you practice? And if you're practicing on video games, you're gonna play like a video game, and that's not how I want to play in real life when shit actually hits the fan.
Yeah, if the better, if you want to actually do more force-on-force stuff, airsoft and paintball are a little better for that.
A little bit.
But here's the thing, though. But I wouldn't dismiss this, because what we found is that, especially among millennials, is that they're learning about guns from video games, right? And then the Zoomers now.
About guns from the video games. Oh, is that a from Fortnite? No, it's not a from Fortnite.
Let him finish, but I want to get more realistic with it, especially with games like Boneworks, which is using real-world physics in the game. I would love to have real-world physics and, a Fallout prepping style game where if that event ever occurs, I like that memory, that reflex, I guess you could call it. Just muscle memory in a sense. Just everything comes to
none of that's real.
Comes to mind if it's not real, yes. But if you can simulate it with real world physics, why isn't it?
It's not even realistic though.
Tim, no, I would actually tell you something. So I kind of do a little bit of shooting in real world, and
just a little bit.
And it's kind of funny that I have 4 kids, but my 2 youngest boys are like 9 and 12. And it was kind of interesting. In the course of a year, from we actually we let them play Xbox a little bit, and it was interesting that within the course of one season playing Xbox and getting good with aiming, and then I took them out to the range, their hand-eye coordination improved dramatically. And they're actually
thank you. I rest my case.
That's no lie. It seemed to, at least on the hand-eye stuff, they understood how the guns worked better.
Whoa, that's all the time we have for Rob.
I absolutely believe that with Pistol Whip, just the amount of rounds I've played in Pistol Whip, my aim is a little bit better. I am going to pick up my accuracy.
First of all, I need you to stop right now. There's absolutely no way that you'd be able to quantify that, because I've personally never even seen you shoot a gun.
Well, I can't wait to go out to the range with you then. Let's go out to the Everglades and go have some fun.
There's absolutely no way that you can quantify that statement that you just made, so we're going to disregard it. We're going to strike it from the record. Thank you.
For now.
Let it be known we are striking that from the record.
Well, I think, the bottom line is things like recoil and the noise and the smells. You have to get used to that when you're unfamiliar with those things.
And your heart is beating, and then supposedly you get shot. You got the fibs factor to deal with. And I mean, there's a lot going on besides just like playing a video game and it's like, oh, I lost. Oh well, let me start again. There ain't no start again, and there ain't no taking bullets back.
Video games
on target every time. You can't just, I missed, I can still shoot because whatever, the game tells me I have so much in the magazine.
Before you go, Rob, I'm just gonna say video games are terrible. No, they're not terrible. They're just really early simulations. They're really low grade. We don't have the processing power. Just running a game like Boneworks, which takes up a lot of real world graphics, takes up a lot of processing power. You have to have a huge rig to be able to run a game like that. When we're able to get to, I'm proud of where we are now with virtual reality. I'm proud of where we are with a lot of the games that we have today. Yes, it's not real world physics to that point yet, but I absolutely believe by the time your kids are my age, by the time I'm, a lot older, a lot more real world physics will be built into these games. And what you call a video game, there'll be more simulations. There'll be more real world effect where I can practice in the game, quote unquote, and then get into the real world and it's real. Yes, it's not there today, but in 20, 25 years, you don't know what it's going to be like and you can't guess it.
You can't guess it neither.
I can tell you it's gonna be a lot better than today.
How the fuck can you do it? If you just told me that I can't guess it, how are you gonna sit here and tell me that, oh, I can tell you? No, you can't do that if I can't do it. Neither of us can
I
do
know
it
it's
then.
gonna be a lot further than it is now.
You don't know
Games
that?
are just getting more and more advanced. Go ahead, Rob.
You guys should get a room.
Not at all, my God.
Whoa. I'll be leaving 30 minutes.
Adam's
never ever
drone
come back.
gonna be in a vat like the Matrix. Absolutely.
Yeah,
When I'm on the
fully.
way to the next universe, absolutely, I'll be in that vat plugged into the Matrix and be able to plug in, bounce around the universe like Avatar, where I could be able to pop up in the United States and pop into an avatar and then pop up somewhere else in another universe. Moving on.
We're gonna be holding some interviews. I apparently need to replace fucking Looney over here.
Hey,
What the
you
hell?
call it loony? Today we're still in the caveman era of 50, 60, 70 years from now.
Anyways, more importantly, do you have the dates set for your conference in Utah, which I will be going to? That I do not want to have this conversation anymore.
February 28th and 29th.
Okay.
2020.
And then one more time, just because a little bit of alcohol, not that much, but just a little bit is running through me. What's the website that you mentioned?
It's offchain, one word, .events, plural.
Okay.
Offchain.events. And
So
definitely check it out if you got any ideas for it. And we're really open. So we're more than happy to host any kind of event or any kind of panel or session. So the theme is really open. It's the technology that liberates. So I think we're going to get one of the suppressor manufacturers doing a demo. And well, they're not going to shoot at the place, but they're going to bring suppressors out and talk all about the science behind suppressors and things like that. So, and a lot of people don't ever get around that stuff. So we're going to have some really interesting hands-on kind of stuff. I did reach out to Ghost Gunner and see if I can get those guys to come out. They said that-
love them.
Yeah, they're cool.
know if
I've
they're
checked
gonna-
that out a couple of times.
But that's the kind of stuff we're trying to bring out into one place, like 3D printed guns, DIY guns, things like that.
Now you really got my attention.
I used to have access to a Ghost Gunner, but I don't have access to it anymore, and it makes me so sad.
I really want to see more 3D printed guns and learn. I want to see that technology.
You want to see more 3D printed guns? Wow, Jesus Christ! I must be rubbing off on you, bud. That's amazing.
You act like I was. All right, we're not gonna go there. That's a political conversation. Change the subject.
You know, the 80% stuff's amazing though. So, like, they got the jigs now that are for a router. So literally $200 in a router, and you can like buy 80% lowers and make fully reliable, fully nicely machined, metal AR lowers. Which is actually just, I mean, the 3D stuff's great. And by the way, I have a 3D printer too. And so I love that space and that stuff. But, if you want something that's just rock solid, reliable, that's, built at home, I mean, the tools now are literally, the jigs are amazing out there. So, I mean, a couple $100 for a jig that, you can do any caliber AR. Now they have multi-calibers. AR jigs, so if you want to do the 80%ers, those are really the way to go, and they take 15 minutes. So it's just like, at least if you're going to print an AR lower, that's like an all-night kind of build, print. But that technology is great too because they perfected the Glock mags 3D printed now. I kind of know guys that work in that space, so I know a lot of the guys that are leading the R&D in that space as well. So the accessories that are coming out, in fact, I think in the next month or two, that group actually designed a completely from scratch 3D printed gun, the whole thing, and the barrels, they've actually perfected at home how to do the rifling with ECM, electrochemical machining. So they figured out a way that you can basically buy high-end tubes off AliExpress. It's not a rifle part. Literally can do the ECM to do a fully rifled barrel, and it's gives it the nice spin.
Oh shit!
Dude, the R&D coming out of those groups. If you go search for deterrence. Anyways, there's a bunch of groups on Twitter for the 3D printing gun community. But
Do you know what rifling is? Okay, I got you. Hold on. No one look.
You guys are teaching me right
Nothing's
now. Just
happening.
give me a second.
Don't look. It's fine. Don't look. Nothing's happening. I promise. It's all fine. All right, so
I learn a lot from
the only
this
thing
guy.
I have is a barrel. I don't have nothing else. There's nothing in my lap right now. I promise. Look, so look down that barrel. Do you see how it kind of twirls a little bit? How it spins
Yeah, it
around?
spins. Kind
It's
of like
rifling.
007. Kind of like
You want-
007.
Yes, exactly like that. Exactly. So the reason for that is because you want there to be spin.
Spin.
Because
Exactly.
it helps
That's
it go
why the
straighter
bullets-
and fly farther,
I get
etc.,
that.
etc.
Uh-huh.
Right. Boom. Cool. Just learning lessons.
For
Cool.
people that don't know, and this guy who obviously forgets, my dad's in the military, so it's not like I don't pay attention to these things. Continue.
So I think that community is actually pioneering some amazing DIY builds, and they're perfecting things. And it's interesting to watch that happen, all open source DIY kind of groups. Now, they're obviously, considered verboten in a lot of states, but the technology is interesting. To do the rifling is the hard part of any kind of barrel. Like all these DIY guns back in the day and makeshift guns are usually smooth bore because it's really, really hard without specific tooling to go through and actually do the rifling. But with ECM, they can do it, and you can get basically, they're selling barrel blanks out of China that are high end, essentially.
Sick.
So, anyways, there's just a lot of interesting stuff happening out there, but actually building guns is not hard. I taught myself to build guns, and it's an amazing hobby, and it got me into welding and machining and things. So I definitely think that's a hobby and a thing that people should get into more of. And I think as time goes on, with all the politics around guns right now, I believe that having more people starting to pick up these skills is important. I always say that if people that want to disarm you want to do bad things to you, I mean that's what it comes down to. Do you know where gun control? And I know, and I don't like getting into racial shit.
Let's
but
do it.
We're gonna do it.
Let's
I
do
knew
it.
it was coming. We're gonna go.
I'm fucking ready.
Let's go.
Do it.
Let's do it. All right, come on.
Do it. Because Jerome don't know what you're about to say. but
I
we're here.
understand,
We're
but
fucking
I
here.
also know that
Let's
we're all on the
go.
same page about. Continue.
So I think the black community that gets behind the Democrats is fucking insane, because if you look at
Let's
most of the laws
fucking
out there,
go.
because what ends up happening is you look marriage licenses. You know what marriage licenses were all about? Keeping blacks and white people from marrying one another. That's what marriage licenses are about. Why the fuck you gotta ask the government for permission to go marry somebody? Ridiculous. Same thing with gun control. Gun control was always about keeping black people away from weapons because the white people were scared of black people with guns. That's where gun control came from, and it mostly came from the South, and it mostly came from fucking Democrats. That's a fact. All gun control is, born out of racism. But ultimately, it's about people control. It just, the first peoples that they wanted to control just happened to be black. But now they want to control everybody on top of that.
All right, so
My basic position.
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
you
Jerome.
know I'm not gonna not do it.
Listen, I'm not that ass boy. Don't do it.
So now that there's no magazine in the gun, or
no guns here.
there's no guns
What
here.
are you
What did I say? I didn't say that. Anywho, so I don't know if you guys know, we're close to Parkland. It's literally around the corner.
Very unfortunate what happened there.
It's very unfortunate what happened there, but I also have met with all of the kids from Parkland, Emma Gonzalez, all of them. The one that he doesn't like, I forget his name right now. It's just not coming to my mind. Anywho,
Fuckface? Yeah.
I'm mad I can't remember his name right now. But
Seems fuckface.
no, it's not. Anywho,
what
I
I-
understand where they're
what I
coming
haven't said
from, and I love the fact that there are kids right now that are pushing for a revolution on making sure that we get something done about gun control, about making sure that we don't have more school shootings.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there, and we're not gonna do this right now because we have the same goals. Okay, safer
Agreed.
schools have nothing to do with gun control. It has everything to do with just making the fucking school safer. And now we're done with that conversation. That's it. That's it. Make the fucking schools safer. That's it.
So how do you make the school safer? Because there's one side that's proposing take away the military style rifles that are
Listen,
you're gonna say that
Jerome,
word.
Jerome, I need you to stop.
You don't like the word
Listen.
assault rifle,
That's not a real
but
word.
there
It's not a
are
fucking
people
real
that
word.
call and label AK-47s, M16s.
You can't buy a fucking AK-47, Jerome. The only thing you've ever seen in your life was an AKM. You've never seen an AK-47.
Regardless,
Don't fucking talk to me about
if
guns.
I can be able to keep going really quick and have a large mag,
I can fucking do that with any gun, Jerome. Stop. We're not doing this right now because you know how fucking passionate I am and you don't know what you're talking about. And I fucking hate when people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about try to talk about guns. Don't fucking do it.
Don't get him on that side,
You know, when my
guys.
dad was a kid, my dad's high school had a gun range under the gym, and he used to take a deer rifle on the bus to school. You know, so we can get into all sorts of conspiracy theories, but the bottom line is, banning something doesn't make it go away.
I agree.
And access to weapons isn't the problem. It's not what's causing people to snap.
I also
And
agree
in
on the
fact-
fact that there are just a lot of people with mental
I'm gonna
issues.
blow your mind right now, right? And
Please.
then this is where
Go
we
for
can
it.
start.
Please.
And this has a racial component too. In fact, this is the control. Now you're gonna go. Now this is gonna be down a deep rabbit hole, but here you go. So that they didn't have school mass shootings that much before like the 1980s, and they started happening where all these people would start snapping when Prozac came out or SSRIs came onto the market in the 80s. And if you look at the rates of prescriptions and the rates of school mass shootings or where people are snapping and shooting, they're almost 1-to-1. And no one will talk about that. They say it's fake news. So what's interesting is that where are school mass shootings not happening? No one ever asked that question. You know where they're not happening? Inner cities and Indian reservations. And you want to hear another interesting note? Those communities, the blacks and minority communities, are far less likely to be prescribed SSRI medications.
Wow.
So the control group.
Very interesting. That is
Significantly
very
less.
interesting.
You can look up the prescription rates. It's like 50 to 75% less likely to get them. And part of that's social stigma, part of it's just not access, part of it's cultural. They don't want to get help for mental illness. It's just the fact of different demographics, right? People are different. But so what we have is that we have inner cities where you don't have people, that are just going and blowing people away and trying to shoot 30 of their schoolmates. Now there's gang related stuff. That's a different issue. In fact, every weekend in Chicago, you got 70 to 100 people getting shot in the summertime, but you never hear anybody talking about that. That's a gun-free zone. Remember that. Guns are basically illegal in Chicago. All of them. It's almost impossible. There's one gun store in Chicago. So access to guns is not the problem. In fact, during the last 40 years, 35 years, access to guns has actually gotten a lot harder. In fact, in the 80s, you could still get a machine gun. It's illegal. You can't transfer a machine gun manufactured after 1986 now. So the cost of an actual machine gun, which would be an M16, not an AR-15, or an AK-47 versus an AKM.
wow.
Is that,
look at that.
The fact is that if you want to buy a transferable pre-86 manufactured M16, they're like $30,000 now. For a gun that should only cost $400, but that's because you can't buy one now made after 86. So what's happened is that the gun control has actually gotten a lot worse. I mean, you look at all the things that have happened since the mass shootings began, the school mass shootings, as I would call it. You have universal background checks, you have waiting periods, you have all sorts of red flag laws now going up everywhere. That stuff didn't exist. So it's actually harder to get a gun than it was back then. Different states have all sorts of regulations. So what's happening as gun control has increased, actually school shootings have increased as well. But what's also happened is that prescription, basically mental illness drugs like SSRIs have also, the rates of prescriptions have increased dramatically, especially over the last decade. And so to me, it's what I believe personally, which no one wants to talk about, and no one wants to talk about it because in the news, because the biggest lobbying group, or one of the biggest lobbying groups, and one of the biggest advertisers right now are the pharmaceutical industry. So the mainstream media,
absolutely
they don't want,
agree with you on
want to
that.
research it, and the politicians don't want to lose their cut. So they're all just ignoring.
Wait, all right, so I want to jump in. I hear you. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I absolutely understand, and thank you for bringing up. And I also want to go to the chat because everybody in the chat is blowing up about this conversation. They love it. I think that this is the conversation that needs to be had on the debates, not all of the crap that we saw yesterday. If you were watching, I was. Anyway, you brought up a lot about the drugs that were released, and the fact that a lot of these politicians, I won't say all of them, but I know that there are a lot that want their cut, which is why they allow the Sackler family, which is the ones I'll call out. That's the ones that Bernie, the person I support,
Listen, get to your fucking point, because I don't care about politics.
I know.
Get to your fucking point.
And that face, I get you. But those are the people that are the ones that are funding what you're talking about, the ones that are pushing those drugs on the street, the ones that are getting that out there. I do believe that there are some people in government that have an idea, that have a plan to be able to pull that back. I understand the kids, like I remember his name now, David Hogg. You got all those other kids from March for Our Lives. I understand, not to say that I understand people that hate them and disagree with them because you feel like they're infringing on your rights. But I also can understand where they feel like their rights are being infringed by having somebody come to their school and shoot the school with these guns. I understand where some people are saying there needs to be some repercussions in regards to this.
There are laws that exist already. The laws need to be enforced, and that's it.
I
laws
understand.
as they stand are fine. The schools themselves are not secure, and so if you would like to secure the schools, do that.
If you have the funds to go do so, go ahead. I also can understand where there are some people that are saying, hey, we need to be able to pull some of these guns back. I don't agree with it. Don't say that I'm one of those people. I just understand where they're coming from by coming up with a proposal and saying, hey, we have a plan that'll allow us to be able to pull back these guns. I wasn't for better or worse coming into the homes and taking your guns away, but I understand where it's like, hey, can we do a buyback? Can we do something that will at least bring it down? I'm not saying to go ahead and take everybody's guns, but can we bring down the amount of the possibility of this happening?
Why?
If you have a proposal that'll say, hey, here's how we're able to make the schools safer, and here's how we're going to be able to fund it without putting a gun in every single one of the kids' hands, I absolutely agree with that.
The kids can't have access to guns anyway under the current laws, and I'm cool with that. So what are you talking about?
So how are you going to be able to make the school safer? Because the one reason...
Well, I can tell you what's happening right now.
Fences, okay? Metal detectors, okay? Problem fucking solved.
I do not want to go to school with a metal detector. I don't want to go to school where I'm going to have to deal with the exact same crap because I have to. How many people have the problem when they go to the airport? Hold on.
At the airport.
I can't stand going to the airport. But go
then
ahead.
don't fucking
We have a guest.
What the fuck you talking about?
We have a guest. Let Rob go ahead and talk. But I absolutely can't. Bullshit that we have to go through in security. Go ahead, Rob.
I can tell you, Utah is leading in the fact that there's several training organizations of former special forces guys that are actually teaching teachers on how to deal with and arming them.
And that shouldn't be their job. But continue. I'm sorry.
It's legal. Well, they're teaching that basically. Like my friend runs. He runs a bunch of charter schools, like private charter schools, and he's got the most well-armed teachers on the planet.
Let's go.
And I think it's like 30 or 40% of his teachers have all been through like serious like room clearing training, not like literal cop level training.
Let's go.
They actually train them in the schools. I actually went to one of the courses with them. And dude, they're like all their teachers carry. They don't worry about it. And they don't have metal detectors at their front doors either.
Which is cool. I'm not against that idea if teachers are willing and want to learn that. I believe that we need to...
That's why I said it's only about 30 or 40% of the teachers, but they're not forced. They're not forced to do it. But the ones that are willing are trained and allowed to do it. And,
I would love that.
I homeschool my kids because I don't trust the government schools to either keep my kids safe or educate them. So, I don't have a dog in that fight, but to me... If I thought that there was a higher likelihood of my kid getting whacked at school, I wouldn't send him there as a parent. There's at some point you got to say, you know what, there's bad people out there.
How would you know? It's until it happens. You can live in the cleanest neighborhood that's never had a gun issue until somebody comes to the school and shoots up the school. How would you know which kid is going to be the kid that snaps and brings their dad's gun to the school?
You don't know, which is why you should have metal. If you really give a fuck and you really want to make it so that schools are safer in general, have a mandate where there is metal detectors.
I don't agree with that, Tim.
As why?
I went to school for how many ever years? 12 years, 13 years, and never had a metal detector in my school.
So what the
I don't
fuck does
want
that
my
mean?
kids to have that problem.
Why? That's
I
not a
don't
problem.
want my kids to need to go to a school with a gun detector. Or with a metal detector. I don't mind what Rob is saying by having some teachers
Look,
that want to be armed, but you never know which one of the kids in my son's school is going to be the one that shoots up the school.
Stop.
Go ahead.
Stop. We're both from NY. You must be from a nicer place in NY.
I am. I'm
never...
thankful to my parents for putting me in a better situation.
It's daddy's time. So you went to some nice school or whatever that didn't have metal detectors. I did not go to a school that had fucking no metal. My school had metal detectors. Okay, my middle school had metal detectors. Okay, that's it. Nobody brought a fucking gun to school and fucking did some gangster shit because you couldn't do it. There was
I'm
no way to
so
do it.
thankful for my parents for not putting me in PS. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 1. I don't remember what number it was, but I did go into it. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
My focus is root cause analysis. What's causing kids to snap and go and want to blow people away? Because people have been bullied forever, right? Why are kids now just deciding to snap and go again? Full metal jacket at their high school. And to me, here's my belief that there's probably a certain percentage of people that take those drugs. Not everybody, of course, because there's like tens of millions of people on SSRIs, right? But maybe 1/10% of people that take them they basically freak the fuck out.
That's true.
And so to me, since no one's addressing what I believe to be at least something we should be studying and looking at it, but no one's doing it because of politics and money. So to me, I think the next best thing would be having teachers or people that at the point of the incident are already trained and armed that stop the incident because the cops won't do it. Parkland, I'll wait outside, let people get killed, and then I'll.
Which was sad. Yes, that's also a problem. I hear you.
But the thing about it is, it's not a problem because you're made aware of the fact by the Supreme Court that police officers have no duty and or obligation to protect any specific citizen. You know the people that they have a duty to protect?
Them damn selves.
No. What you know when you go to Walmart and you see cops outside? That's called a uniform detail. What that means is that they're wearing uniform, but they're actually not on duty, but they're doing an extended detail after their shift in their uniform with their police cars as police officers, basically doing security for Walmart. Those are the people that they protect because those people pay them money. Who else do they protect? The people who've petitioned for like a restraining order or whatever. They have a legal, somewhat to some degree, obligation to protect those people. They protect the people that pay them. Mm-hmm. Police officers are nothing more than the security for the town that's painted on their police cars. And that's it. And the sooner you that it's you versus the world, and not just the world is like, oh, it's gonna protect Jerome, the better the fuck you are. You have an obligation to yourself and to your family to protect you and to protect your family, and that's it.
I just don't want to have to. Why did we go offline?
My opinion on that is that thinking that someone else should protect you and that you don't have a responsibility to protect yourself or your family is the most privileged thing I've ever heard.
I will take it. I hear you. It's a privileged thing. I would rather live a privileged life of not needing to protect myself, not needing to worry about shit, not needing to go through any of that. And that's the America I want to leave for my kids, where you don't need to worry about some kids coming to your school and shooting the place up.
Go to Cali. Just move to Cali.
That's why I'm saying there are going to be some locations.
Move to fucking
I'm sorry.
Cali.
Go ahead, Rob. Say that again.
How about Montgomery, Alabama in 1953, and let me know if you don't need a gun to protect yourself. Tell me about the America where you don't need to protect yourself.
Bro, like, it's crazy.
I agree that we aren't there and we haven't been there.
What do you know about Black Wall Street?
I do know about Black Wall Street.
Uh-huh.
And the amount of people that died and are now hidden in a bunch of graves mashed together. It's disgusting.
Oklahoma City, right?
Where?
Oh, was that Oklahoma?
That was in Oklahoma, yeah, Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. We had our own Wall Street. We were chilling.
And they came and shut us up.
Because we were not legally able to
To
defend,
defend
ourselves.
ourselves. I know.
That's it.
I don't want to
You know
have
what?
to worry
This is where
about
I-
needing to defend myself, but at the same
I
time,
can-
Well, you don't have to worry about that because I'm here. But if I wasn't here, you would have to worry about that.
I didn't before you were here. But go ahead, Rob.
You know, I respect your own belief, right? I mean, I can understand not wanting or wanting to not have to worry about it. Like, who wouldn't, right? But I can say this, is that I'm not going to bank on somebody else who isn't obligated to protect me to do it. And if they're not there anyways, all I got is me. But I can tell you that, you know, my take is I don't care about the school mass shootings from the standpoint that my rights are not determined by the acts of a criminal, right? Like so, as sad as it is that people snap, whatever the reason is, right? I have my own beliefs on what may be causing that. But the bottom line is, just because someone else does something illegal is either insane or does something illegal as a mass murderer, that in no way makes it so I have to give up my rights.
I agree.
And I'm not going to do that. And to me, you either learn to drive a rifle or you learn to ride a boxcar, and you make your choice.
Describe that for the people that don't understand.
Meaning that the first, historically speaking, it's a reference to the Nazis. And one of the things they did is they disarmed the Jews, and then they put them on boxcars because the Jews gave up because they didn't believe that bad things were really going to happen to them, or they wouldn't believe that it would get worse.
No, not me.
And so the bottom line is, you either learn to drive a rifle or you learn to ride a boxcar. And I'm going to learn to drive a rifle, and I teach my kids to drive a rifle. And so, to me, that's about it. I'm as sad as a mass shooting is. It's sad, unfortunate, it's tragic. But that still doesn't mean that I need to give up my rights because of it, because I am not a murderer, I'm not crazy, and I didn't commit a crime.
Exactly.
And my rights aren't determined based on the behavior of criminals and crazy people.
Exactly.
I understand and I agree with you. Another thing that I'll bring up that I'm also, I guess, cognizant is the word that I'll use, of just the instances of people that would have never thought this instance would occur. The lady that's driving her car has her gun in the back, underneath her car seat, and I guess because she hit the brake, the gun slid forward or flew up, and the kid that grabbed the gun and ended up shooting his mom when he grabbed the gun. Like that just hearing the story sounds crazy to me.
She fucked up for having a fucking a firearm,
a loose firearm underneath
just
her seat.
in her seat.
I agree.
She fucked
That's
up.
negligence on her part.
And that's it.
And
so
that's
it stops right there.
I don't
because she
agree
fucked
that
up.
it stops right there, because you got the one guy that was teaching his daughter how to shoot, and she's shooting and she understands not to point the gun at the person that's shooting or that the person that's there. But we're human. You make mistakes, and there's that one instance where that one girl was shooting with her. I think it was either her dad or her uncle. And after she's done, she thinks the gun, the barrel is done, and she turns the gun, and as she's trying to reload, I guess she pulled the trigger and ended up shooting and killing the trainer.
That's her fault. Because
But she's a little girl.
No, nigga, that's
Who's
her-
going to go to jail? The dad or the trainer or the little girl?
Because when you're done shooting, this is what happens. When
You're not supposed to put that on the camera.
When you're done shooting, this is what happens, okay? And when you see this after you pull the trigger a number of times means that there's nothing else happening in here, okay? This right here is the signifier that you're done shooting, okay? Like this, there might still be
We
something
as
in there.
grown adults
That's it.
understand that.
Yes, and that's something that you have to teach the children. And if you
I
don't-
agree.
And if you don't teach them properly, or if you don't understand, okay, your brain is not 18 years old yet, you don't understand all these concepts, that's on you. That's on you to make sure that your child understands exactly what you're telling them. And if they don't,
That's a train. So just so you understand, the number of kids that get accidentally shot per year in the United States is like 3 or 4. And in fact, more kids drown.
That's 3 or 4 more than I want happening, but go ahead.
I know. But
What about
there's
car
more kids
accidents?
that-
Stop. Let
What
him
about
go.
car
Let him
accidents?
go. Let him go.
More children drowned in 5-gallon buckets of water than get hurt by a gun. So you're going to ban 5-gallon buckets of water?
Not to ban them, but
More kids die falling off their bikes per year than die.
wait,
from
die falling off their bikes?
yes.
I have never seen that. What?
What are you fucking talking about?
People die falling off their. Kids are dying falling off their bikes at a rate of people dying in school.
How fucking dangerous is it? That's why you have to wear a fucking helmet, dummy. And if you're not wearing a helmet, which in most jurisdictions you're legally obligated to
I'm
fucking
one of
wear.
them, so I can't. I
Okay
can't.
then, boom.
But I've never died. I mean, I'm sorry.
Obviously, you
Continue.
never fucking died, stupid.
Continue. Sorry, Rob.
So you want to know how many people died from bicycles?
Please. No, I don't know that. Please educate me.
I'll find it. But here's an interesting thing though, is that if you don't hear about these comparisons because there's an agenda of anti-gun out there. So right now, let's see.
I think it's two part. I think it's part agenda, and I think it's also part certain things just seem scarier to people than other things. And I'll give you an example that has nothing to do with guns. More people in the U.S. die every year from pig attacks than from shark attacks. You can fucking Google that. That is a fact. Pigs kill more people in the United States than fucking sharks do. And you would think it would be the opposite, but it's not.
In 2017, 1,024 bicyclists died. And so,
Okay, bicyclists and kids on bicycles are two different stories, but I understand that's still a statistic that's not good.
I can break that. I could probably get it by age too if I can. I'll dig a little bit if you want it. So,
I'm sure it's nowhere in comparison to the amount of school shootings that were around this year alone.
But how many car accidents have claimed lives this year? Should we ban?
That doesn't mean we should ban all cars. I agree.
I think
that's
honestly,
why I'm all for cars driving themselves.
Wait a minute. I think we should ban big trucks because who needs a big truck?
I agree with you. I would absolutely prefer Uber and their cars, the trucks that drive themselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm fucking joking. This wackadoo over here.
I'm not. I actually would be for it. Go ahead, Rob.
That's fucking stupid. Saying like, oh, we should ban big trucks and like it makes no fucking sense.
Rob, please continue.
Well, I was gonna say that more people get beaten to death every year with just hands than they do with guns, and 4 times more people get stabbed a year than people killed with guns.
Ban hands.
So,
ban hands.
No, you continue, Rob.
You gotta ban hands.
Stop. Continue, Rob.
So
no hands.
It's just the statistics are, believe it or not. If you take out, I mean, we can get into all sorts of gun deaths, but the fact is, if you take out suicides, which people who don't have access to guns kill themselves other ways, so they have substitute methods. But if you take out, and I'm not an expert with all these statistics. There's better people out there.
Tell Don Pepe to send a link.
But,
I'm sorry, Rob. We just gotta jump into the chat just because Don Pepe with the do it.
It's fine.
I'm dying.
Just tell him to send a link.
Continue, Rob. I apologize.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that we're actually not a very dangerous country. If you take out suicides and you take out inner city gun violence, gang violence. Sorry, I'm just getting over a little bit of something.
No, you're good.
So you like Chicago and Baltimore, in some of these major cities. If you take out 4 counties and you take out suicides, we have actually a much lower gun homicide rate per capita than many parts of Europe.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely believe that.
And so we're safe. The thing is, people have overblown. In fact, the murder rate in the United States was higher in the 90s than it is now.
Yep.
I mean, we're getting
It's going down. We absolutely are. I agree with that. Yep.
I grew up in the Detroit area in the 90s. I went to high school in the 80s. I'm old. So, I mean, I remember when they're like, Devil's Night, where they burned down half the city, where they'd burned down 1,000 houses in a night. I mean, and that was the height of the crack epidemic in the late 80s, early 90s. So I grew up in that environment.
I was a little kid.
My dad was an inner city high school teacher too, in Detroit public school. So it's like I heard a lot about, I know a lot about this, and I can tell you, the media is scaring the shit out of people for no reason. For no reason. In fact, places like where I live in, like, Colorado and Utah, in the middle parts of the country, we're some of the safest places on the planet. I mean, it's ridiculous. But if you listen to the media, like, people are getting gunned down left and right, and it's like, dude, it's just not the reality. It's just not that dangerous. But nonetheless, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be prepared, shouldn't think about situational awareness, should have some training. I think it's good that people are armed. And have training, and that's all. And the training thing also solves a lot of the problems with the handful of unfortunate, child accidental deaths that happen from firearms, but those are the parents' fault more than anything.
Have you ever seen me with Aiden where like I'll take out a cartridge from like the mag or whatever and I'll have him break down every single piece that's on there? Where he's like, oh, this is the casing.
His son
this
is
the
smart.
bullet.
I absolutely agree that his son can definitely name more gun parts and on all that than I can.
What propels a bullet? Oh, the gunpowder. And what happens first? Oh, the striker fires from the primer.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is something that like even though for him it's just like recognition that I'm appreciating the fact that he knows the information. At very least, he knows the fucking information. And it's from a mechanical standpoint. It's not even from like a safety standpoint right now, because he's not allowed to touch my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's on me all the time, and he's not allowed to touch it. But like he knows all the moving parts. I'll disassemble it, and he'll be like, "Oh, this is the slide. This is the fucking return spring.
I've watched.
This is the barrel."
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
He knows more gun parts than you know.
Absolutely. We've done that test
feel me?
already. His son is more educated on the gun parts than I am. And that's that.
He's 7.
That doesn't rectify the fact that yes, you can call it more privilege, you can call it whatever it so be. I love, my dad watches our show and channel. I'm sure he's gonna catch this later on.
I hope he does.
Absolutely love the fact that Dad. I'm glad you didn't make me, Aiden and his son the type that needs to know all that stuff because my dad's gonna quiz me. I don't know. Nor do I care. I just want to go play video games.
Nah.
I just want to go hang out with my friends.
Nah.
I just want to go live my life.
Nah.
I don't want to have to worry about Tim being there. But I will absolutely love the fact that, if there was ever to be a situation, best believe somebody comes through with a gun and I see it and something's going off and it gets to a point where I feel like my life is threatened, first person that's going to be there is going to be Tim. And I absolutely recognize that, agree with the fact that I am privileged. I understand that. There are a lot of people that are out there that don't understand their privilege, that don't understand where they're coming from, that don't understand the life that they are living, and don't recognize the life that other people that are living. I want to make it so that all of our lives are the same and that we all don't have to worry about that. Now, I understand that you don't want to worry about it. Not that it's a worry to you, but you'd rather be prepared in case it ever happens. I'd rather it just never happen and you're prepared for no reason.
Well, you can't.
Me too.
That's everyone's goal, but you can't prevent crazy people from being crazy. So the way science works is one in every however many, they're gonna be fucking wackadoos. That's it. So every interaction that I have with people, I'm assessing them to figure out, like, yo, are you a wackadoo? Like, what's going on right now? Anywhere that I'm at, I'm conscious of my surroundings so that way I can best protect not only myself, but the people that I care about. And you're one of those people. And so that's why you feel comfortable in the fact that, there's someone there that's going to protect you if some shit pops off. I don't have that person. I don't have somebody that's going to protect me if shit pops off. I can't rely on the government for that. So for that, I need to be able to protect myself. And so I'm not finna give up any of my rights where I can protect myself and protect the people I love and care about. I'm just not gonna do it. So even though there's people like you that don't fully understand the rights that you're giving up and that you're okay with doing away with,
I'm not saying that I'm willing to do away with it. I'm saying that I recognize that there is a problem. I recognize that someone is providing an option and there's also an alternative where we continue with the system that we're in.
Stop.
Then what?
Stop.
Then what, Tim?
Stop.
Then what?
Stop. Okay, what I said was that you're okay with giving away a right.
I am not okay with giving away the right to bear arms. No.
But you are, though, because you would like more gun control. And any law that, all of the thousands of laws that have come out in regards to any type of firearm whatsoever are not constitutional. Why? Because the Constitution reads as follows: the right to bear and keep arms shall not be infringed.
A pistol? Fine. I don't give a shit.
Arms are arms, nigga. That's it. Arms are arms.
I don't agree with you. That's not the same. Somebody coming in your school with an AKM, an AK-47. It doesn't matter. That shit is definitely worse than a fucking person coming through with a pistol in my attention.
Okay, yes, 9mm versus 7.62. The ballistics are different.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, to decrease rather than the pistols that are out there.
However, a pistol is more concealable than a rifle is. So for a rifle, for me to pop up at a school,
Let our guest go through.
You
Come
have
on.
to be able to see me with the rifle.
Let our
Fuck
guest
you
go
mean?
through. I get you. Continue, Rob.
So, a 300 blackout pistol.
He don't know nothing about none of this shit. That's what I'm saying. All these people that are against guns don't know nothing about guns. They don't know anything about the ballistics. They
You
don't
said 300 blackout
Yes,
pistol?
300 black. The one I'm building right now. The 300 black. The
Stop
300.
saying this stuff on stream, guys. This is the most explicit stream
honestly,
that we've
it
ever
really is.
had.
This
Like, I
fucking
apologize.
EJ.
The one stream I come through, the most cursing we've ever done ever. Annalise
Honestly.
would be so angry at us right now.
Fuck it.
300. Well, I forgot what I was looking for.
Just look up 300 AAC AR pistol.
AAC
That's what I'm literally building
pistol.
as we speak. Love them, love them, love them, love them. They're super quiet. It's really nice. The ballistics
That's a
are
fucking
great.
rifle. That's not a pistol.
It's a pistol.
That's the
And
next thing. Our
listen.
freaking government needs to stop letting
That's their
that be a
fault.
freaking
No,
pistol, a
that's-
rifle rather than a
No,
pistol.
That's their fault for
I
trying to
agree
regulate
with you.
shit.
No, I agree with that. That why is that a freaking pistol rather than a rifle?
Because it's not meant to be shouldered.
Oh, dude, don't even get started.
Because
on
it's
that.
not designed to be shouldered. Because it has a brace and not a stock. And because the ATF is fucking stupid.
So freaking change the goddamn rules. Like what the
That has
frick?
nothing to do
That
with
shouldn't
me.
be a goddamn pistol.
Yes, that don't got
I
shit to
agree.
do with
That
me.
has nothing to do with you. Come on, Bernie, let's change this shit. God damn.
First of all, fuck Bernie.
Y'all can say that as much as y'all want, but the news ain't paying attention to him, and he keeps growing. He just hit 4 million donations, the first candidate ever to do so. Continue, guys.
And we're gonna go
Non-politics.
ahead. Where
Continue.
you?
Continue.
Which
Stop.
one are you?
Cut it
Is
out.
this one you? Oh,
Cut it out. Let's
oh,
go.
no.
Continue, Rob.
Wait, can you hear me? You can hear
I
me.
can hear you.
Oh, perfect. But you can't
And he
hear
cut
Jerome?
me out. You
oh,
jerk!
No.
Like I'm not loud enough for y'all to hear me anyway.
Oh, we can't hear Jerome no more. What happened?
Hi, Rob. Continue. We apologize.
Oh no, this is I think this is a microcosm of what's happening in lots of places. But I just think it's funny when you start saying, well, why is that a pistol or not? Now you're starting to see the absurdity of gun laws. You know, a pistol, you know, and there's all sorts of rules about
We
you know,
all
what
agree
can
on that.
be what makes a thing a pistol versus making it a rifle. And when you start getting into the, well, if you put a hand grip on it or down on, it's now a rifle, and it's illegal, or it's an AOW or what have you. And it's like, it's just absurd. Gun laws are absurd. And when you really start seeing how gun laws are and all the stupid rules that actually don't impact performance, you know, or really change the functionality of the gun, but changes it from being either something completely legal to something completely illegal just because of something, how it looks. Man, imagine a society where we didn't ban something based on how it looks.
Exactly.
I get you.
It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. People are trying the most for no reason, and I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it, and I'm not gonna say live on stream whether or not I comply with all these laws or not. I'm just saying
Jesse applies with all these laws.
I sure do. I'm just saying, as a citizen, as somebody who has the wherewithal to be able to protect other people that they care about, I'm gonna do it using the best tools that I can have access to, and that's it. Because I know that as if I'm a criminal, right, I want the best tools possible so I can commit crime, right? So if I know that as a citizen who's not a criminal, which I'm not, I'm gonna want at least something that they have or better, preferably better. That's it. So all these laws, I don't
Look
know.
at that link I just put in there. Did you see that link I put in the chat?
We have a block on links. Sorry guys, I see other people are complaining on the blocks on
are
links.
you in there as bits and
I
tokens?
am. So I can
Put-
drop.
so-
I can
so put
release
the
the
link.
links, but I don't see any links that came through. But I know people are complaining that they can't drop their links. It must be automatically blocking them.
Okay, so technically yes. So we don't block links, but if you're logged in as bits and
I
tokens,
am.
you should be able to see.
I saw Manka's earlier when she said sup, and I released that one. But all the others, I have not seen any links. They can't drop links.
My phone is dead.
I know,
right
and
now.
he's in the middle of the stream, so we're not gonna. Sorry, guys, you can't drop links. I'm usually on it because I'm the one in the background paying attention.
That's true.
And I'm the one that releases your links, but Annalise isn't here, so sorry.
Any they're in the chat. I'll find them after the chat. I'll either release them so that way when you're rewatching this, you can see it, and or I'll post them all on my Twitter as a part of
clips of this. I couldn't do my work.
You know what? I'll tell you this.
Please.
If Jerome was, and if some kind of magic wand gun law, if we banned a certain gun, would absolutely guarantee without a shadow that there would never be another school in this country, I'd support it.
Would you?
I'd support it.
I'm glad. What would need to be like? What is that gun? Like, I'm not gonna say it's impossible. It's a black that fixes it. I agree. That's not possible. Is that the only route? No, we're not looking at the right route.
Wait a minute.
Continue.
Look, so here's why a lot of it was sarcasm. And it's not a bad sarcasm. It's because I
get it. I just don't pick up on sarcasm.
Check me out. I would support it too. If it was like, yo, school shooters can only use AR-15s, honestly, I love the platform, but the reason other platforms that are super cool, that have better ballistics, that have, you know what I'm saying, like, and it just the AR-15 is this platform that they specifically want to like, oh, AR-15 is so bad, whatever. That's not it. There's, bro, what about 30-06? You never shot a 30-06 in your life. That will fucking take down a fucking big ass bull, bro. What do you mean?
Real quick, appreciate you, the IO, for saying, did you reload your pistol and magazine? That's in regards to y'all 300 whatever that we were talking about a couple of minutes ago.
Since when did you reload your pistol with a machine gun magazine?
That pretty much a freaking machine gun.
No.
I'm sorry, assault rifle.
Google assault rifle right now.
I understand. No, you don't believe that's a word.
No.
Let's make
No, I'm not. God, I will close my laptop right now. And right now, Google assault rifle. Fucking Google that shit right. I don't care about it. I want you to stop it. What do you Google assault rifle right the fuck now.
Take my phone out like
fucking
that.
Care. Google assault rifle right now.
Assault rifle.
Google it. And I want you to fucking speak into this fucking Rode NT1A microphone, and I want you to fucking tell this crowd what Google tells you an assault rifle is.
A rapid
Automatic
infantry use.
Oh, wow.
What we call military case.
No, automatic. Okay. What that means is that when I press the trigger, it keeps firing. What happens with my semi-automatic rifles and pistols is that every single time I pull the trigger, it fires. So I'm responsible for sending every single shot. Whereas machine gun and or assault rifle are interchangeable terms. It sprays. That's only, fam.
Rob must be so proud.
That's it.
I love him too.
I the fact is, part of the problem is that no one understands but how easy it is to build a gun. That even if you decided to ban all guns, people will still smuggle them in, and they'll still. So you take out the RPGs, you've taken away a large number of rifles across the board, and the government is trying to serve the people. It isn't about making people safer. It's about making government more protected from the people.
No, it's not.
I'm okay with that.
I appreciate you, Rob. Pendu, I don't know. No, cut it out.
Crypto
we
Pendu,
do not
I fuck with
push
you, my guy.
for violence here. This is bits and tokens.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Hot about this, okay? That's it. I don't know.
I understand where that reference is. I don't like using the word slow. I was going to. In
That's
terms
crazy.
of people that are not mentally capable. However,
Which you're not capable of having this gun argument. I'll tell you that right now.
yeah,
I mean,
there in this conversation,
you're the shining example of the Democrats. I'm not gonna lie to you because you don't know what the fuck you're talking
because
about.
I believes